Hello and welcome to Cup of Tea with the Vet. Have you ever wanted to ask questions to a vet and just get up close and personal and learn the vet behind, or the human behind the vet? We have got with us today Jo Headley, who was the founder of Sunninghill Veterinary Centre, and she's going to come and chat. So you can please come and ask questions. We really want to hear what you want to find out. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask all the questions I want to find out. So, Jo, introduce
We're gonna have a cup
yourself.
of tea as well, aren't we?
We've got our cups of tea. Yes, of course. Cheers.
Yes.
So, Jo, tell us more about you.
Well, I started Sunninghill Veterinary Centre in 2006. Oh gosh, I can't believe that. It seems like another lifetime, especially at the moment. Everything seems like another lifetime, doesn't it? And I'd worked for other people and had some lovely jobs, but I really just wanted to have my own surgery and run it my way. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was have really expensive dog treats that I could give to the dogs without a boss moaning at me and saying, you can't do that.
Amazing.
So yeah, and then all the dogs like coming in. So I make sure that I only have those really nice treats in the consult room. And then the dogs, they're very wise. They know they'll come to reception. I have a treat. And sort of like, oh yeah, that's all right. But I know where the best ones are. So get them through the consult room.
That is such a nice backstory because I mean, absolutely, it's saying how much you care. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. Having a boss breathing down your throat, it's not fun, is it? So yeah, it's great when you get to make your own decisions. And what a fabulous decision to make to have something so nice.
Yeah.
Because, well, also food is such an important thing to all owners. You know, it's the one thing we end up like whizzing around and around and around in your head. Is like, what are we putting in our animals? So it's really nice to know that you've been able to make such a decision on such a sort of small thing. It seems like a small thing, but actually it's a big thing. So well done. That's lovely.
You could say that I'm just sort of stooping to bribery, but I don't mind. The pet lights coming in.
Exactly. And bribing the animal is absolutely fine.
Yeah,
The owner's a bit different.
yeah, that's an okay tool for bribery. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what do you like to do in your spare time?
A bit of hang gliding, paragliding over Sunninghill, that kind of thing. When I'm not doing that, walking the dog. Did paragliding sound a bit more interesting? Maybe?
No, I'm just still processing because I'm just like, whoa, you're an adrenaline junkie.
No, just thought it sounded a bit more interesting, didn't it, than the usual
It was a joke.
Yes, it was a joke.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, I really thought that was real. I'm very gullible.
Before I get to work, I paraglide there. Yeah, that's how I get there.
Amazing.
I do like the usual things, sort of cooking, gardening, walking the dogs, all of those sort of things. But thought, paragliding just sounds a bit more interesting, doesn't it? And I would like to give it a go.
Well, there you go. That sounds like a challenge. I feel like that should be your 2021 goal is a paragliding lesson.
You certainly get social distance, couldn't I? Yeah.
It would be great. No, that's really lovely. I mean, walking the dogs, all those things, they're really important, and they're nice things you can do every day as well. So it's good downtime. So yeah, that's fabulous. So what made you decide to become a vet?
Well, I was very lucky. I grew up on a farm. So my grandparents and my father were farmers, and I was just so lucky. I got to sort of roam free on the farm and do things, and I could go around rescuing things. I didn't necessarily want to be rescued, and my grandfather did have to restrain me quite a lot and teach me that baby birds don't need rescuing. But I used to do quite a lot of that, and I had my own chicken hospital, so I used to enjoy that. The downside was that my dad said I could have a chicken hospital as long as I didn't refuse to eat chicken. So that was a tough decision at that age, but I wanted to look after the chickens, so I knew I wasn't allowed to moan about it. So yeah, so I used to look after them, put felt tip on their head, then put them back in and monitor them and make sure they were all right. I'm not sure whether I did them any good or not, but I thought I was.
That's really lovely. I actually have a uncle farmer who so I have a farm background as well, and I can't tell you the nostalgic memories that brings up. And yeah, you can't help yourself. And my uncle had pigs, so I used to sit forever in with the piglets and listen to them. They're so cute, and they squeal like nobody's business when you try and pick them up, and they chew the wellies on the rubber on your wellies. They're so cute. So yeah, that's really nice, and there's so many memories that come from that as well. And being able to ride the tractors and all the things you can't do anymore. So that's really lovely. And yeah, how nice to have a chicken hospital. Have you got any?
We could grow up on a farm. It would be it's just such an amazing way to to spend time as a child.
Definitely. Do you have any chickens now?
No, I don't. No, there's far too many foxes in Surrey and Berkshire, I think, to successfully have any chickens.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, I think I'll leave that to other people.
That's fair enough. I do know a few people have chickens, and they've done quite well. But yeah, they've had to put in lots of sort of safety measures to make sure that everything's okay. So not easy.
No.
So, what's your favourite part of being a vet?
I've been asked that quite a few times, and I find it really difficult to answer. I really like just about everything. I love being a GP, so I've never actually wanted to specialise and just do one thing. Although I like most aspects, there's nothing I want to just do solely, like orthopedics or whatever. But I really enjoy the whole sort of relationship right from the beginning when a puppy or kitten comes in and you know them from being really little and you see those people year on year. And it might not be always me seeing them as the vet, but I see them when they come in and just sort of, or I bump into them sort of in reception and keep seeing them and find out how they're getting along. And I can give them guidance with the rest of my team about how they can care for their pet throughout life. So get them onto the right track, keep their pet healthy and happy, and help them when they're old as well, sort of in their older years. That's really important too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's so particularly about the oldest, they've given you everything for all those years, and and they're your world all that time, and it's kind of like the least you can do is look after them when they're old and a bit crusty and a bit battered round the edges, and then at that point they just need that extra shove of love. And that's really, really lovely.
Best actually. I mean, I love seeing puppies and kittens, and it puts a sort of spring in your step, especially if you've had a bit of a sad day. And it's really lovely to cuddle a puppy and a kitten. But I'm much more drawn to the old animals. I think they're lovely.
Oh, bless you. Well done. That is lovely. So we've had a comment put up, and that is that Joe's dad, Ron, brought me here, and a big smiley face. So you may well know who that is more than me. So thank you for that. Kiat? I'm so sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Thank you for
commenting. No, that is right. Kiat. Yeah, Kiat.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for that, Kiat.
Hello, Kiat.
So, Joe, what is your favourite snack?
Walnuts.
Walnuts?
Yeah, walnuts. I love walnuts. Okay, I love chocolate as well, of course. But when I'm trying to make sure that I don't just stuff my face with chocolate, walnuts. Yeah, I love them. We could eat them by the barrel load.
Well done. Do you put them in things to make them more interesting, like cake?
Yeah, but they can go in anything really, can't they? I do actually like lots of really healthy food. Unfortunately, I like some of the unhealthy stuff as well. And but chocolate and walnut go really well together, don't they? So yeah,
that's fair enough. Absolutely. So what pets have you got?
Well, we haven't got that many at the moment. I'll just direct my screen round for a moment. You can see behind me 3 of our old pets. Can you see them okay there?
Yes. Beautiful.
So very sadly, those 3 aren't with us anymore. So we did have quite a lot at one stage. We had 4 cats and 3 dogs at one point, but sadly we're down to 1 dog and 1 cat. So apart from, as I told you, my daughter who's 5, who likes to pretend she's a dog. So sometimes I've got an extra dog, which is nice. I'm sure at some point, not in the too distant future, we'll be adopting something else. But our cat's quite old, and I don't. He's having such a nice, peaceful time. I don't want anybody to pounce on him just at the moment.
No, that is fair enough. That's fair enough. And getting more pets has got to be the right time for you and all that sort of thing, hasn't it? So yeah, that's right.
kind of the right time for me, but I think for him, our last dog was a bit snappy with him, and now I can see just how relaxed he is. So you sort of think, oh, just he's 17 and he's got 3 legs. So let's let him have some peace, I think.
Oh, bless. Be comfy. Joe and I were just discussing that both our children, this is so weird, both like being dogs. And they both expect us to put the lead and collar on. Now, any social workers out there watching, don't panic. They're imaginary. You know, they're not real leads and collars, but we have to go out on the walk and go click to go, they're on your lead. And click,
mine is a real lead and collar.
Oh, you've got a real one.
Yeah, she's pilfered them from the dogs, and yeah, she actually goes to sleep in a collar.
Whoa! So, bless you! Wow, you're an extraordinary mother doing everything for your child. That's very kind.
Or a very strange mother. You'd be very pleased to know it's not a choke chain, so don't worry.
Yes, definitely, and not spikes.
Well, it's got a couple of spikes, and I don't see what's the problem with that, you know.
Fair enough, fair enough. Does it depend on what day of the week and whether or not she went to bed on time?
Yeah. How far into coronavirus lockdown we are, yeah.
Exactly. Right, so Debbie has said, cake, what flavour does Joe want? Lemon drizzle, coffee, carrot, or sticky ginger? That sounds like an amazing invitation there. Can I have some?
Well, I really wanted chili flavoured, because I had seen that Debbie had done a really amazing carrot cake with some fantastic carrots on top, which did just slightly resemble chilies. But I think lemon drizzle, coffee, lemon drizzle. No, sticky ginger.
It's hard to decide. It's hard to decide, isn't it?
Decide. Yeah.
So Kia has also given us another question. As a vet, how much of your time on average a week is spent on visiting pets? Also, are there any animals that should not share your love of walnuts? And Joe, your dad and I play bridge together. Oh, you got both my name. You both got my name pronounced correctly. Thank you. Apparently, I can't read the end part of that, but I got your name right. So thank you so much. Good. I'm so pleased. So yes, Joe, do you need to reminding of that question?
No, I don't think that there are any animals I can think of that can't have walnuts. There may be somebody listening tonight who knows that there is one out there that can't have walnuts, but I've not heard of that. I suppose the shells could potentially be dangerous, but no, I think that's okay. And visiting animals, we don't do a lot of home visits, so we'll do them for people who can't get out. At the moment with lockdown, there are some people who just can't bring their pets to the surgery, so we're organising to collect pets for them if it's possible. But in the week we do go on home visits, but mostly it's usually on the sad occasion of euthanasia when we're doing a home visit, and actually we encourage that to be at home. Unless the pet particularly likes coming to the surgery. Some love coming to the surgery, so that's absolutely fine. But otherwise, we usually say it's better at the surgery because there's so much more that we can do. Everything's at the surgery. So, yeah, not too many home visits.
No, I think that's a great answer. And it's really nice to hear that you encourage home visit for euthanasia, because, you know, I think that's really so nice for owners as well as for the pet as well. Because, you know, it's quite embarrassing, isn't it, going to the vet, being all upset and, you know, in the room and all that sort of thing. So I think, that's really lovely thing to do. So for everyone. So, yeah.
Surgery, the last thing we want to see is the pet upset and, you know, looking around and wondering where they are and everything. It's just, you know, it's the often people say I couldn't do your job because of putting animals to sleep. And it is hard, but if we can see that they're in an environment where they're content and loved and everything, then it makes it so much easier for everybody then.
Absolutely. Well done. So I'm going to interrupt now and give one more of my questions, because I want to know what still grosses you out as a vet, because there's got to be something that still turns your stomach.
Well, it's really weird because it's not actually something that an animal does.
Oh, that sounds even worse.
I can't think of anything about animals that totally gross me out. Probably don't like watching other people operating on an eye. I'm fine if I'm doing it myself. So that made me feel a little bit strange. But no, the thing that I really don't like, and quite a few of my clients know this, so actually do it on purpose, is I really hate it when people say, my dog's got a bit of a cough, and then try to act out the cough for me. And that is the thing that really gets to me. So some of them now just do it on purpose.
That's really funny. You know that your cough level after this COVID, because obviously it's really frowned upon right now. Maybe next year there's going to be a whole heap of that happening. So yeah, that is definitely. I'm really glad I asked that question, because that's such a strange answer. I mean, you know,
well, some people are very graphic how they do it.
That is true, and I can totally see where you're coming from with it as well. I mean, it absolutely, I can see where you're coming from, but it's just something I haven't thought of before. So yeah, it just makes me laugh.
Very strange things. We get people asking us to remove their stitches for them, inspect their wounds, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Worrying, but doesn't surprise me.
You've had that as well.
Sorry, sir.
I said, I'm sure you've had that as well at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm having flashbacks right now, so that's why my head's like, whoa. Right, so we'll go back to our audience, our lovely audience, for participating, which we are really grateful of, by the way. So thanks, guys, for getting involved. Really, really, really love that. So Farman says, hi, Farman. And Debbie says, cheeky chili. Be careful what you wish for. Ginger with added chili coming up. Well, I think Debbie sounds a bit mean. I bet she'd make that actually taste really nice, because I'm always amazed what some of these cooks can come up with, and you think, well, that doesn't sound great, but actually it's amazing. So
can do it, Debbie can.
Amazing, that's lovely. Kia says, thumbs up, thank you. Debbie says, you're so sensitive and empathetic for the final journey, Jo, with both animals and owners, and she's given you a big love heart, which is really sweet. Thank you, Debbie. That's a really lovely thing to say. So Jo would like to know, how is lockdown affecting everything with vets studying at vet college?
Well, yeah, it really has affected them, actually. We were due to have quite a few students with us over the next few months, and they're just not allowed to come. So they're having to study at home. I think they're all sitting there in their PJs, just at home. And I think they'll be doing exams, sort of online. But I don't know whether some of the colleges have slightly different things. And of course, the thing is, I've not actually been seeing the students to have the direct conversations with them, but it will affect them, which is sad. And also they won't get some of the training that they get when they come into practice, because they get to do things with us, just things like taking blood samples and everything. It's all very valuable training that they're getting, but can't do it at the moment.
No, it really is sad, because it does make you wonder whether there's going to be a sort of a stopgap of flow of staff coming into the profession, for a year, because there'll be potentially that missed gap.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how many people we're going to be allowed to have in the building anyway for some time. So
yeah, good question. So I'm going to go back in with one. So what would your dream achievement be if time was no object?
Good grief. Probably to stop animals suffering everywhere. Gosh, that would be a big one, wouldn't it? But that would
You've gone for a biggie.
That would be my dream achievement. Yeah. I can't think of anything that would make me happier than that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah. I mean, it's fair enough. It's definitely that is definitely the right thing that we want to hear, because that just means you care so much. So yeah, well done. Thank you. So going back to our lovely, lovely audience, Debbie says, I don't taste anything. No olfactories. Kiss, kiss. So impressive. You do all that without tasting anything. Wow. Julie, I'm just jealous. So Julie says, do you think after lockdown you may do more video consultations? So I think that means, is that going to carry on being a thing?
Yeah, I think definitely we will carry on with more video consultations, but what I've found is, because we've been forced into it, I think it was something that the whole profession was gradually coming around to sort of thinking we'll have to do. to keep up with, just changes. We were all pretty slow on it, but now we've been forced into it at high speed. But I think the thing that I've really found is it is never ever going to replace the actual consultation. So virtual consultations are okay, and if you're fairly experienced, you can probably triage most things fairly well over the phone. But it's really difficult to interpret your animal's pain and then relay that information to me. Most clients aren't very good with the phone to actually be able to sort of get a very good picture of their animal. In fact, I've had some wonderful experiences with these consultations over the last couple of weeks. I've seen people's curtains, I've seen their sofas, I've seen the wrong side of their animal, I've seen their animal in the dark, all sorts of things. I just haven't seen an awful lot of their actual animal in the position I want it in. But it can be helpful. There's definitely a place for them. So yes, I do think they'll carry on.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, like you say, it's a big learning curve for everybody, isn't it? Because you're so used to working in one way. The animal comes in, you do a heart check. You can't take your stethoscope to the phone. You can't take your thermometer out and all those sorts of things. So there's a lot that you do very quickly that people probably don't even notice you doing because you've done it so quickly and you're so au fait with doing it so smoothly that, in the time it's taken to the owner to still describe what's going on, you've done the check already. So
that's it, isn't it? You can't do that over the phone, can you? And the other thing about actual consultations, the physical consultation, is that often animals will come in for one thing. Their owner will say, "Oh, I think he's got a problem with his tail or his paw or whatever." And whilst we're examining them, we actually find something completely different. Like we'll sort of say, well, "Actually, he's got an ear infection." Oh, we had been shaking his head a bit. And it's those kind of things that I think if telemedicine took off in a really big way, it would worry me actually that quite a lot of the other little things that really impinge on that animal's welfare, those things would be missed.
And sometimes those are big things, aren't they, as well? Yeah. So, I could think of loads of examples. That's a really good point. So, yeah, it's a very interesting subject, isn't it? One that we could probably just debate all night for hours. So,
yes.
But we shall move on because Debbie has very kindly said that she'll make me a cake too. Thanks, Debbie. Yes, I'm in Bracknell. I am definitely local. Yes, please. So, yes, I'm very excited.
It's now tea and cake.
Yes, I'll have any of the options, but lemon drizzle. Ooh, that sounds good. Yes, I remember even the menu. That was so good. So Joe says, such a shame for the students doing such long training course and then having a massive interruption like this. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's horrible. It's so sad.
Yeah, and all the people doing A levels, anything that anybody's trained for, it's very stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got loads of physio students and they're the same, asking for work experience they can't have. And then, then you come into the end of theirs and not able to do their exams. And there's a lot of discussion about options and what they're going to do. But yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah.
So Joe also says, I'm looking forward to coming to eat these cakes with you all after lockdown. Bless you, Joe. I don't blame you. So we've got a question from Annabelle. This is going to take a lot of reading. Hi, Joe. I have a question, please. Do I need to worm my rabbit? He's a free-ranging bunny during the day. I do use ivermectin roughly every 3 to 6 months. I have chickens. She's a chicken lover. And they get lice from time to time. And I don't want the rabbit to get them. So in brackets, if he can get them from birds. So she's not sure about that. But I'm not sure if the ivermectin is enough or necessary now that I'm looking into the web pages and forums. Oh, those web pages and forums that make life really complicated.
Yeah, anybody does, isn't it? People don't often worm their rabbits. So you can go for years without worming rabbits. That doesn't mean you shouldn't worm them. But that's just been my experience over the years seeing people with rabbits. It seems to be quite different than dog owners who do tend to much more routinely worm them. The ivermectin will be good at stopping some of the mites. I'm not sure that they can get any mites from chickens. I really don't know a lot about chickens, so I have to be very honest about that. But there are some mites that they can get that they can pass on to us, where the ivermectin would definitely knock that on the head, so that'd be good. For really comprehensive worming, you'd have to use fenbendazole as well, which most people would know as Panacur, and that gets rid of or helps to prevent as well a very nasty problem that rabbits can get called E. cuniculi, and it can cause head tilt and some nasty things. So, of course, you could go a whole rabbit lifetime without it ever picking it up. But if you want to make sure absolutely that it doesn't, then look into getting some Panacur.
Awesome. Great answer there for Annabelle. So I'm going to interrupt again. So if you could be amazing at any sport, what would it be? I think you could say paragliding now.
Probably actually something really like skiing, I think. I'm a bit of a wuss, really. So I'm not a daredevil at all. And I would
love... Daredevil? Skiing
what?
is daredevil.
No, but I'm not. That's it. I'm saying I'm not. I haven't been for years, but I would love to be that person who would just go and ski and not even necessarily be that brilliant at it, but just be able to sort of like go and be free. Yeah,
I can imagine that, actually. Yeah, that's a really nice thing to do. What floats your boat more, the jumping, the slalom, the cross country, or just the downhill?
I think actually the thought of if you had a huge open space, the cross country, actually, with a small slope somewhere. You'd have to have a slope somewhere, wouldn't you?
Cross country sounds amazing, but definitely long. I mean, wow, the endurance for that looks incredible. So
yes.
That's
no chance of ever doing it.
That's fabulous. So if you could have a Facebook live chat with anybody, dead or alive, who would they be?
That is a really difficult question. There's a million people that I can think of, some just amazing people. I'd love to chat to the astronomer Carl Sagan. Lots of political people I can think of, but I think for a really good feel-good factor, as well as probably being able to tell you those things, it would have to be Eric and Ernie.
Oh wow! I
think they would just be such fun to talk to, because I don't think all comedians would be. Some of them can be quite dour off screen, can't they? But I think those two, I think you could have a very nice hour chatting to those two.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think I agree with you completely, as in with the comedians, because there's some I always think, I'd love to talk to them, but then there's others you think, oh no. I'm Michael McIntyre. I had a dream about him once. That's so weird. I actually woke up crying with laughter. My husband was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I just had a dream about Michael McIntyre, but only a normal sketch show." But it was just, I was like, how am I waking up laughing like that? I was a bit embarrassed, if I'm honest. I was like, that's a bit weird.
I'm sure Michael would love that, though. Yeah,
he probably would. He's going to have to be flattered. But I was laughing because I was thinking, it's my dream in my head. So does that mean that I think I'm that funny because I made up those jokes?
That's it. Maybe Michael McIntyre actually wants to hear your jokes.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Come on, Michael, let's get you on here as well. So Wendy says hi to Donna and Joe. Thank you. Hi, Wendy. Debbie says you're welcome and has given us loads of faces and a cake. So I'm very happy with that. Thank you, Debbie. Annabelle, who was the rabbit worming question, says thank you, Joe, and lovely face. And Julie says, if you were given the opportunity to treat a zoo or wildlife park animal, which one would be your first choice? Oh, that's a great question.
Well, definitely wouldn't be. I spent some time at a mini zoo once with some tarantulas, so I definitely don't want to do that ever again. But I think Julie's probably thinking something a little bit bigger than that. I think a giraffe.
Very cool.
Just so beautiful and stately, and possibly also very dangerous if you get in the wrong place. But yeah, just beautiful. I mean, I think the lions and the tigers are amazing, but they're just too frightening. Too frightening.
That's a great answer. I think giraffes are, I think that's exactly the right word you've used there. Stately, majestic. Yeah. They are incredible, aren't they?
We really are, yeah. And I think they're so cute when they're little as well. Not that they're ever very little.
Yes, but no, I couldn't agree more. They definitely are very cute. Great question, Julie. Thanks for that. So, what meal do you like to cook the most often?
Curries. I really like
Ooh,
cooking curries, and I love grinding up the spices and everything because it's just the scent is just amazing. So I'm not saying that I always grind up the spices. It's not like I stand there preparing every single ingredient every time and never use a sauce or anything like that. But if I have got the time, I really love grinding all the spices up, making it from scratch, and just all the different scents that you get from them.
that's
That's what
amazing. Good dedication. Are you picturing somebody's head when you're grinding those spices, though?
it depends what kind of day I've had, really. Yeah.
That's fair enough. No, I must admit, I'd love a mortar and pestle because I think, that is quite cool, actually. And
Yeah.
exactly. But the smell is gorgeous, isn't it? So
Oh,
I'm not very good at spices, but
yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. So can you tell us something that other people won't know about you?
um, oh, well, I really am a vet, but nothing like that. I haven't been masquerading or anything. But I didn't actually come to veterinary work until a little bit later. I started off. I left school after my O levels, which I did very badly in, and I just flunked out. I just lost the plot and really didn't do any work. And then I went off to London and I nannied and I worked behind a bar and I worked in an advertising agency. And then one day I just thought, I really know what I want to do, and just thought I better get on and do it. So yeah, so I had a bit of a gap and did different things first. But I'm really pleased that I did because it puts into perspective what you're doing and how you want to do it, and other jobs that other people do, and how important they are, and that everybody's job is important and that it's all interlinked.
That's such an amazing story. And actually, it's really motivating as well, because what you've just said there is, like so many of us know, when you're young, you're not necessarily aware of what you want to do in life and how to achieve it. So you're not necessarily 100% motivated to get there, get your exams done. And then it takes a bit of life experience before you finally sort of have the kick that you need to say, actually, I'm going to sort this out. And what you've just said there to a lot of people is, actually, if you want to be a vet, just go and do it, because
Yeah,
as soon as you're motivated.
it doesn't matter these days, does it? I mean, people are going into professions later and later. I mean, I thought I was a mature student at 24, but I mean, there's plenty of people now going to veterinary university college in their 30s. I mean, it was a slight surprise to my parents when I moved back, having already left home, but they took me back in with open arms, and I wouldn't have got where I am without them having put up with me as a mature student.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, honestly, that's just such a great motivational story. I just think that's absolutely incredible. So we've got some more people weighing in. So Ronald says, have you ever been kissed by an elephant?
That's my stepfather, and he knows I have because he's seen a photograph.
So he's making you plug that. That's amazing though, because I've got my elephant, because I went to do the elephants last year. So that's amazing. We've got that in common.
Yeah. Oh God, I bet you really enjoyed that, didn't you? What
Yeah.
were you actually doing with them?
Well, we were out there doing physio.
Yeah.
So it was an osteopath arranged for us to all go as a team over
Yeah.
there of osteos and physios to go to a very, very good rescue sanctuary and treat elephants for the week, and learn more about them at the same time. It was a CPD type thing, and it was just incredible. Oh my, emotional.
How do you manipulate an elephant's joint?
Yeah, well, that's a different question. Yeah. So, it's not the same as a dog. You can't just sort of bend their arms and all this sort of thing. You,
No.
you can't do that. But you can encourage them to do the movement that you want. So you can have a weight shift by getting them to reach a branch in the left corner, will make them shift their weight up and back onto
Yeah.
a leg to change their muscle engagement. And you can do massage and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yes, the surprise what you can actually manage. But But we digress because this is all about you, and we definitely have to talk about that more. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Ronald, for bringing that up. That's very brilliant. So Ava says, "Hi, Donna and Joe. I'm really enjoying your chat." Oh, thanks, Ava. I'm glad to hear it. That's amazing. And Anita says, "If you were not a vet, what other job would you do and why?" And carrying on from the last question, basically.
Oh, when I was growing up, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go into something more arty or sciencey, and I really enjoy both, actually. So I did really think about astronomy at one point, but not astrology, by the way, astronomy. But as my stepfather will bear testament, my physics really wasn't good enough to actually go into astronomy, so it's probably best that I didn't. But I also enjoy arts as well, so it would be difficult to choose another job because nothing could top what I'm doing. So I would find it really difficult, because if I had my life to do again another 5 times, I'd still be a vet. So yeah, so it's a tricky one, actually, because I can't really say.
That's a great answer, because at the end of the day, that's what hobbies are for, isn't it? So, you know, you say you love art, that's where you do it. And actually, I do think you're the luckiest person on the planet when you have a job that you absolutely love, and then your hobbies remain your hobbies, and you love those too. I mean, you literally are the happiest person on the planet, Joe. You lucky lady. So yeah, well done. So Karen says, "I want to say hi to Joe and just tell you that she is an amazing vet. Thank you for being so caring and a love heart." So well done. You've got fans there, Joe. You've got fans. So another question from me. What is the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Oh, well, that goes back to skiing. And I was on a skiing holiday, and I was pretty useless, to be honest, because I'm not very brave. And we went with a group of people to one of the test ski runs where they do the test the aerodynamic helmets and things. So it's not very long, but it's a really, really steep run. And we went to the top of it and we were just looking at it. And one of the guys was going down. He said, "You can just hop on the back of my skis if you want." And I did. And which is something that you do when you're younger. I mean, now I'd sort of think, "Oh no, I mustn't do that. I'd end up with a broken leg or something." But I hopped on the back and just went down on the back of his skis. And of course, if we had crashed, it would have been dreadful. But that was amazing. And that was the kind of thing I could have done again and again and again. That was just so fantastic, because it was so fast. And the person who's actually going down those ski runs has to be a really, really good skier. So there's no way I could have ever have gone down by myself. That was amazing.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Hats off to you. That's scary. That's fast. I mean,
it wasn't that scary because somebody else was in control. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those silly things when you've not done it yourself before. If I'd been an experienced skier, then I probably would have thought, "Oh my God, I'd never do that." But because I wasn't experienced, it's a bit like when you're young and you can't drive, you don't find other people's driving scary, do you? So
good analogy. Yeah, good point. Good point. But yeah, as an onlooker, I still think you're crazy. So well done. So obviously we've talked loads about you and your veterinary practice and all the amazing stuff you do. Would you like to tell us a bit more about your team at Sunninghill Veterinary Centre and tell us, what amazing people you've got there doing what amazing things they like to do?
Yeah, well, the thing at the moment is what's really sad is that some of them are on furlough. So we've got such a lovely team at the moment. We've got lovely vets, lovely nurses, lovely reception staff, and animal care assistants, and just a lovely, lovely team. And I was saying to my mum, recently, just feels so lucky. Everybody gets on really well. We've all got the same ethos. We all really care. It's not just about how people are at the front of house. They're all just the same at the back. They really care about the animals. If one of my animals is poorly, I'm, really pleased that those are the guys that would be looking after my pet. And now, sadly, we're all a bit fractured, and they're on furlough, a lot of them, but they're being very patient about it and very understanding. but I can't wait to get them back, because we've got nurses that are interested in physio and getting pain management, etc. And the vets, they tend to be a little bit more medically sort of biased. I'm probably a little bit more surgical, but that's good. That sort of works out between us then. We sort of manage cases together, but yeah, we work like sort of one big brain, really. We all put our heads together and chat about cases and help each other out. And four vet heads are better than one, and the same with the nurses. They help each other out as well.
That's fantastic.
I really miss them.
Oh, bless you. I bet you do.
Yeah, really strange.
Oh, that's really, it's lovely. It's really lovely to hear you've got such a nice tight team. And when your team works well together, it shows and it just oozes, doesn't it? So that's really great. And of course, yeah, I know. And I, of course, really loved hearing that you love physio. So, and that that your nurses are loving physio. So that ties me in lovely to my next question. What do you love about physio?
Well, what's not to love about it, really? It's great for so many cases, but I think my favourite aspect of it, and the time that I mention it most to clients, is probably with elderly pets. So when they've got arthritic animals, because often people will come to us with an arthritic pet, they maybe don't even know that arthritis is the problem that it's suffering from. That might be a cat or a dog. It doesn't necessarily have to be an elderly animal either. It might be, only 8. Starting to get some signs of arthritis, and sometimes people think we can cure it. Well, there's no cure for arthritis. And if we can't cure it, sometimes people think we're just going to be able to manage it with a tablet. And there's rarely just one answer. Sometimes, we take that multimodal approach, as we love to say in veterinary medicine. Multimodal, I'm sure it's American. And, there's probably several types of tablets that the animal needs. And weight management, that's incredibly important. And then physio, and that can't be underestimated. And I think if the client gets on board with the physio, it can make a huge difference to the pets. And then if they can understand that all of those elements go together, it's not just one thing that's actually making the difference, that can make a very big difference to the animal's life.
Exactly right. Thank you so much for that. And that's exactly it. It's teamwork. It's multimodal is that perfect word. It's, all different people from each different team all putting something in, and that big mesh of work of different elements is what makes the best, treatment plan, isn't it? So that's fantastic. So yes, thank you for that. So going back to our lovely audience, Anita says, thank God for that answer. Otherwise, I would be on the top of all your clients' hit list.
If I change to a different profession.
I think so. Yes. So that's exactly. Oh, bless you, Anita. Debbie says, "I'll vouch. They're the A team." So that's lovely. And Debbie also says, "Girl power dream team, even lovely." And lots of hearts. So very sweet, and lots of flowers. So that's really lovely. You've definitely got a good fan club. So that's really awesome. So another question. What is the weirdest dream you've ever had? Because they always say you can tell someone from their dreams.
Weirdest, I don't know about weirdest dream. I get a recurring dream, and my recurring dream is that I haven't qualified as a vet. And yeah, I know. And I have turned this into an epic drama now, my dream. I mean, it's so convoluted. There's so many chapters in it now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I've been practicing all these years as a vet, but the Royal Veterinary College have decided that everybody in my year didn't actually take their exams. They're not legitimate because, and in my last dream, because we'd written it on the wrong kind of paper. So we've all got to go back and study again. But like I said, I've turned it into a saga now.
Oh my God, that's impressive that you can manipulate your dreams like that. And two, it just goes to show how passionate you are about what you do. And, so I'm really glad I asked that question. Julie has weighed in now and said, you clearly feel you have the dream job and team. Well, we feel that we are the lucky ones to have you all on hand, and loads more love hearts. So that's really nice. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
So I want to hear now, Jo, your amazing tip for lockdown, because we have to share a lockdown tip at this time, don't we?
Yeah, well, actually, somebody did ask me a question that couldn't come on the programme, so it's a little bit lockdown orientated, and it's a slightly sad one, but we don't have to make it too sad. It was about euthanasia and what would happen during lockdown, which is, and I think it's probably worth discussing, because something that people would be worried about because of the social distancing.
Definitely.
But I think this isn't just something that's happening at our vets. This is something I know that a lot of vets are doing. I mean, I go on a lot of veterinary forums and I see what other vets are discussing. Most vets are very concerned that people shouldn't be separated from their pet at that particular time. So most of us will endeavour to make sure that people remain united with their pet, even at these difficult times. So whether that means being actually just having to be in their garden instead of in their house, that kind of thing. So we have to take precautions, but nobody wants to separate people from their pets. So that's not a tip, but it was just a question.
It's very reassuring. So yeah, well done bringing that up. And that was mentioned last time on this programme as well. So yeah, it is something in people's minds, and it is well worth it.
It's really worrying, isn't it? I would be worried if I was an owner, and it was something that worried us as well initially, because we're sort of like, well, how are we going to manage this? And it is something that makes our job more bearable, knowing that the pet and the owner are together, frankly, But my tip for lockdown would be something that I'm quite concerned about, is that people are spending a huge amount of time with their pets. And I mentioned this actually to my mum. She's got another plug there. Hello, Mum. And she said it had been in the paper, so it's really good. At least people are talking about this. People are spending a huge amount of time with their pets that they wouldn't normally be doing. And then at some point, hopefully, they'll be going back to work. What's going to happen to those pets? They're going to suffer from dreadful separation anxiety if we're not careful. So I really like to encourage people to make sure that they do some things without their pet. Don't let your pet follow you everywhere. It's really cute that they want to follow you into the loo or whatever that happens to be that they're doing at the moment. But just try and create a little bit of distance with the pet occasionally. Go into the garden and leave your pet in the house. I don't mean every time, obviously, but just to get it into your pet's head that you don't always take them with you. You don't spend 24 hours a day with them all of a sudden, because in a month's time or 3 months' time or however long this takes, that is going to be very difficult for them to adjust to you going back to work. So even if you know that you're doing that right, try and spread the word amongst your friends to make sure that they also are just bearing that in mind. And yeah.
I think that's a really, really, really... Sorry there, I spoke over you.
Let's not have too many anxious pets after this.
Exactly. I think that's a really, really good point, and a really good suggestion to have those moments alone, and probably good for us as well, because they are on your tail all the time.
Yeah.
The pun of that. So yeah, I think that's a really, really good tip, and don't feel guilty about trying to have that separated time, because I can imagine the guilt. You end up thinking, oh no, my poor baby's in the house, especially as they start whining and barking to come out or whatever. So as you say, not all the time, but to just to create a bit of separation. I think
so that it's normal, isn't it? So that it's normal that you don't do every last thing with them. And the other thing that I'd say, it's not necessarily a tip, but it's just a reassurance, is that a lot of people are worried about vaccinating their pets at the moment. And most surgeries are sticking to the Royal College guidelines and only vaccinating certain animals, so puppies and kittens, and some of the animals that are coming up for their first year vaccination. And then the older animals, especially if they're not in a particularly dangerous situation, in a dangerous environment, we're advising that they just wait a little bit. So, I just really urge people not to fret about that and to go with their vet's advice. if their vet thinks it's safe for them to wait another month or another 2 months, a lot of animals will maintain their immunity after vaccination for quite some time. We vaccinate a year because it's easy for us to remember as human beings. We work on an annual basis, and also some animals' immunity will run out a little bit sooner than others. But yeah, try not to fret about it too much. They're not mixing as much as they would be normally anyway. So yeah, just follow your vet's advice.
Well done. Excellent. So Debbie is she's our last comment, and I think that it's a good time. So Debbie says, I've been really worried about separation anxiety too, not just for Tucker. I've been posting on all the Vizsla groups, etc., advising the same, and she sent a kiss. So yeah, so a lot of agreement out there for you as well.
Debbie has quite a knowledge of behavioural conditions. She's she has a dog that has behavioural conditions. She knew he did when she took him on, and he is an absolutely adorable dog. But he has been challenging for her, and she's been up to the job though. So she really understands about all the anxieties that dogs can have. So it's good to know that she's putting that word out. And I think the more people that do it, and just because some people won't even have thought about it, just very innocently won't have thought about it. So if we can make them aware of it, that's great, isn't it?
Definitely. Well done. Well, it has been absolutely amazing talking to you, Jo. I have had an amazing time. It's been really lovely. I've loved getting to know you, and I know that so many people will have thought the same and will have enjoyed getting to know you as well. You've shared some amazing information, and it's been really, really helpful. So thank you so much. Do you have any final word?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say. Thank you. I just really appreciate being on. Thank you. It's been great.
Awesome. Well, lovely to see you all, guys. Thank you again so much for joining us for our cup of tea. And we will hopefully, this is now going to be a permanent thing. I am going to see you again in 2 weeks' time with another vet. And so keep an eye out for what vet is coming next. And if you guys want to nominate a vet to join me for a cup of tea, please do. I had one nomination last time and I am chasing that up, and I want more nominations. Debbie's just quickly said, fab live chat, thanks. Be in touch, re your cakes. Thank you, Debbie. So you take care, Jo. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being involved. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.